Hi, so let's get ready to make Ciao Monica Trousers. So this is part of a pattern that is the jumpsuit, but if you're watching this video, maybe you've decided just to make the trousers first. So happy sewing, and we'll carry on with Maria Rosa. So we're going to start with our pockets, and we're going to work these as a pair. So with right sides together, you need to sew around the curves of the pocket bags, but leave the straight edges open, where it will be attached later to the side seams. So we're pinning around the curved area of the pockets, and we'll sew with our 1 centimeter seam allowance. Now we're going to overlock the 2 pockets that we've prepared on the area that we've just stitched. So that was the curved area around the pocket. So now we're going to take the front trouser piece 2 and the prepared pockets, and we're matching the notches to the side seams, and we're pinning the lining piece. That's the part where you've got the drawing of the pocket opened marked onto it, or you might have used interfacing and pressed that on of the template that's included in the pattern. And we're attaching this to the right side front of the trouser. We're then going to sew exactly around the pocket opening that we have drawn, and remember to reverse at the beginning and at the end. Carefully snip into the 2 corners of the pocket opening. This will release the fabric tension, allowing for the pocket to be turned to the right side with no wrinkles. We're going to roll the edge of the pockets and understitch through all layers within the seam allowance. This prevents the seams from rolling and showing on the right side of the garment. An optional could also be to top stitch along the opening, and this can be done on the front of the trousers. Now we're pressing well the pocket, the opening of the pocket that we've just stitched. We're going to pin the pocket bag flat against the trouser front along the waistline and the side seams. We're going to stay stitch within the seam allowance. So we're starting at the bottom of the pocket. We're attaching that to the trouser front. We're then jumping the part of the pocket opening, pivoting and going along the waistline to block our pocket. Now we're going to place the 2 trouser front pieces right sides together at the center front seam. We're going to stitch this seam, and remember to always start and finish with a reverse stitch. We're going to do the same process for the back of the trouser. So we're bringing together the 2 back pieces, center seam and at the crutch, and we are pinning right sides together. We're going to sew this area that we've pinned. You might want to reinforce this area by stitching twice the same line of stitching along the back crutch. Now we're going to overlock both the center front and center back seams that we've just sewn with our overlocking machine. So earlier we mentioned that you could double stitch the inside back center seam. Instead, we've decided to finish the back seam with a top stitch. So we are using our presser foot as a guide, and we're top stitching this seam to reinforce it. Now we're going to work on the leg seams. So we're starting with the outside leg seam, and we're joining the front and back together, right sides together. We're matching the notches and we're pinning this area. And then we're going to start to sew from the waistline, paying specific attention around the pocket area, and we'll finish at the bottom of the trouser. On heavier fabrics, you might prefer to overlock the edges of the trouser first, so that will allow you to press the seams open. We have used a beautiful, lovely viscose acetate from Fabrics by Hilary, so you can get that on our website. And so we are sewing first our seam before we overlock the seams once we've stitched them. Now we're going to overlock our outside leg seams, both the seams that we've just previously sewn. We're going to also take this opportunity and overlock the bottom hemline, ready for when we have to press this and turn it up. Now we're going to press the seams that we've just sewn and overlocked, so the outside leg seams. While the trouser is still flat, this is a good opportunity to give this seam a good press. We're pressing the seams towards the back of the trouser. We're also going to press the hem up to the allowance that is indicated on the pattern and at the notches. Now we're going to join the trouser at the inside leg seam. So we're pinning right sides together, the whole area, and we will then start to stitch this area with the usual 1 centimetre seam allowance. Okay, so we're starting at the bottom of the hem of the trouser. We're going to work our way up to the area of the crotch, paying particular attention that the seams are matching up, and then we'll finish at the other edge of the trouser leg hem. We have finished sewing our inside seam. We're overlocking this area. If you had chosen a heavier fabric and you wanted to overlock first, then so you could press the seams open, then this process would have been done before you joined the 2 inside leg seams. We're going to press our inside leg seam. We're pressing this towards the back. Now we're working on our waistband. We've got wrong sides together and we've folded it lengthways and are pressing. Right sides together, we're going to join the 2 short ends of our waistband and stitch these to create 1 loop. We're pressing our seam open. From the front side of our waistband, we're going to overlock the unnotched edge all the way around. Now we're going to attach the waistband to our trousers, so we're matching the unfinished, that's the edge that hasn't been overlocked. We're matching the notches of this part of the waistband, this long edge, with the right sides of our trouser, and we are aligning up the various notches, centre front and centre back. We're pinning this in place, and then we will sew with our 1 centimetre seam allowance around the whole circumference. We're going to press our seam, and we're pressing that from the wrong side. We're pressing it upwards towards the waistband. We're going to fold the waistband along the centre crease so that the edge that we overlocked is now on the inside and is covering the stitching line of our waistline, and we're pinning that all the way around. You can see Maria Rosa has placed 2 vertical pins with a distance of 4 centimetres between each of them, and that's going to be her opening for the elastic later. So the vertical pins indicate where she needs to start sewing and where she will stop sewing when she's finished the circumference of the waistband. She's now stitching into the seam line where the waistband meets the trouser, so stitch in the ditch. Most sewing machines should have a pressure foot designed for this purpose, so check with your manufacturer, and remember when you get to the final pin to stop and leave that gap open. Using a bodkin or a safety pin if you've got a safety pin, that's perfect. We're feeding the elastic through our casing of the waistband. When we get to the other end, we're going to block the 2 pieces of elastic together with the safety pin so that they're firm in place, ready to try for a last try, just to check that we have measured correctly our elastic and it is the right measurement, and then we are ready to sew the elastic together. We've checked the fit. We are going to sew the 2 ends of elastic together. We're sewing well backwards and forwards to make sure that this is secure, and then we will pin the rest of our waistband that we'd left open. We will pin this in place and continue to stitch in the ditch from where we had finished stitching into the seam line previously. We will continue to close this off. Now we're going to prepare our hemline. So as you can see, to block it, Maria Rosa at the side seams is folding back the hem, and along the side seam she is then blocking this in place before she proceeds to turn it back to the correct position, ready to pin the rest of the hem in place. It's advisable first that before you proceed with doing this, that you've tried the trouser on to check that the length is the right length for you. So we're pinning all around the hem, and then to be sure to have the exact front part stitched all evenly, we're going to use the magnetic gauge to top stitch all around the top of the hemline. Been watching to the end of this video and sewing along with Maria Rosa. Your Ciao Monica trousers are now complete and ready for an iron and to wear. So there's also included in the pattern the Ciao Monica top as well as the beautiful Ciao Monica jumpsuit. So all available on Fabrics by Hilary together with our beautiful selection of fabrics.